Padre Island where the seagulls fly, blue water and a clear blue sky, love sand in between my toes, and no hurry, I go with the flow. Shrimp boats cruising on the waterway, well man, I couldn't have a better day. Go Lone Star in a beach bar, solo gig and an old guitar. Well, there's that girl I met in town. Would she let me buy her another round? She saw me and said, well, how do you do? Well, I said, pretty good, I'm doing fine. Can't think of a pickup line. She said, let's walk on the beach and enjoy the view. Padre Island where the seagulls fly, blue water and a clear blue sky, love sand in between my toes, no hurry, I go with the flow. Shrimp boats cruising on the waterway, oh man, I couldn't have a better day. Cold Lone Star in a beach bar, solo gig and an old guitar. Cold Lone Star in a beach bar, solo gig and an old guitar.
The Lucas Brothers and Padre Island. So great to talk to new talent, up and coming talent. I really love it. It's what makes us do what we do here, right, John Bon Jovial?
Absolutely. I love introducing new talent, and especially when they are talented. And this guy's got a nice sound. It flows. Like I said earlier, it's just got this nice flowing melodic feel to it, and it is something that I don't think you see that much anymore. Everybody's trying to outglitz each other, it's like the Country Music Awards show last night. It's like sometimes the only way you could tell it was country music was because somebody was wearing a cowboy hat. Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean.
But this guy seems true to his roots, and was quite happy to hear that.
And I think you're going to love our next guest as well. And we are running tight on time. So don't forget, people, post your review of the David Bowers Awards on Podchaser. Go to Podchaser, listen to some of our shows, post your reviews on Podchaser. For each review you post, they will donate to Meals on Wheels. So check that out. Podchaser, the David Bowers Awards. Up next is a guy by the name of Gary Pratt, and here he is with a song you can drink a beer to.
Turn 21 and you're having the time of your life. Maybe you're falling in love, maybe you're breaking up, or there's a steel guitar playing or a bass line bumping. You're grabbing a cold one. You want to hear a song you can drink a beer to, dance all night, cry if you want to. Remember how good it was back then. Forget kissing on. got caught cheating on, you were cheated on. Oh, you're a soldier, got your orders, and you're shipping out in the morning, or you spend half your paycheck just to see this show tonight. You wanna hear a song you can drink a beer to, dance all night, cry if you want to. Remember how good it was back then. Forget while your heart is breaking. Raise your glass, tip it back. Nothing else in the world makes you feel like that. Wherever you're standing, whatever your point of view, there's something about a song you can drink a beer to. Something you can sing along to, nod your head to, shake your body to. Something you can hold on to. You wanna hear a song you can drink a beer to, dance all night, cry if you want to. Remember how good it was back then. Forget while your heart is breaking. Raise your glass, tip it back. Nothing else in the world makes you feel like that. Wherever you're standing, whatever your point of view, there's something about a song you can drink a beer to. Yeah, there's something about a song you can drink a beer to. Drink a beer to.
And there you have a song you can drink a beer to. His name is Gary Pratt, and he's here to talk with us right now. Hello, Gary. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing great, and so glad you could be here with us today. We got a lot we can talk about. I've been doing a little bit of homework on you, and I find you're quite an accomplished artist. For one, you've got some other things going for you that we'll get into in a couple of minutes here. But I did want to compliment you on the song "You Can Drink a Beer To." Michael, who got us together over there at MTS, he told me to be sure and include that because that is your current hit. And as soon as I played it, I could see why. Tell us about a song you can drink a beer to. Where did that come from?
Actually, my producer brought that to me. It was written by Reba McEntire's niece, co-written by her.
Oh, wow.
And, I got some notable writers on the album other than the songs I wrote myself. But, she wrote that and with a guy named Larry McCoy. Okay. And my producer brought that to me in the studio, and I was like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, I have to do that song because it's, it's a song that everybody can relate to,
Yes, absolutely.
If you're going through a good time, if you're going through a bad time in life, everybody needs a song to drink a beer to, no matter what the situation is. Just even, having a heartbreak or finding a new love or just getting through a work week or a work day, everybody wants a song to drink a beer to. So I figured that was a song that everybody could relate to. And that's why Michael Stover from MTS and I picked that as the first single. He asked me what I wanted as the first single, and I didn't answer him. I said, you know what, Mike? I said, you know more about this than I do, and why don't you pick it and let's see where we are? And he actually picked the same song, so we were on the same page. But I love the song.
Well, it's got all the earmarks of one of those long-standing country classics that will be played in countless bar rooms across the country for forever. Our grandkids will be listening to it. So
well, I hope so.
I think you've got a winner there. And you mentioned the album. Tell the folks what the title of the album is.
The title of the album is Something Worth Remembering. And that song it's actually the title of the album, and the title song was written by Tony Arata, who wrote Garth Brooks' The Dance.
Oh, and wow.
Yeah, this whole album sort of has a story because I dedicated it to my brother who passed away about 3 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. We were very close, and, you know, my family goes through and talk about him every day because I spent a lot of time with my parents. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, I wanted to dedicate this whole album to my brother, and we were doing all the songs, and I'm thinking, I don't want it just to be like a book where you open up and say this book is dedicated to someone, and the book has nothing to do with the person that, you know, they're dedicating the book to. Mm-hmm. So we were doing all these songs, and I'm thinking, you know, I know God's putting these songs in their order the way, you know, he's having control of it. And I'm like, but it wasn't coming together. It's like, it doesn't make sense, like, to dedicate this to my brother when it just wasn't coming together. Like, I couldn't figure it out. Mm-hmm. And then when I heard Something Worth Remembering, I knew right away then what was going to be the first song on that album and what was going to be the last album. And that song actually brought the whole album into a story of a lifetime. And that's what I wanted. And it's perfect, you know, for the dedication. But it's a song, you know, that people can change and people can go through hard times and maybe addictions or, you know, it's about spending time with your family and the more, you know, what's valuable in life, you know, mm-hmm. has no price tag on it. And, you know, we're going to go through different things in life, but the thing is to do right by people and to do good by people and your family and spend time with them. And, you know, that's the things that you want to be remembered for, you know, not the bad parts of your life, because everybody has those. Sure, but, you know, the thing is to get out of that, mm-hmm. you know, to be a good person. And I think as people grow a little older, they do become better people because you don't know who you are when you're younger. But I didn't. But I fell a couple of times. I must say I'm here because of God. So you know, I wouldn't be here.
I think we can all agree on that one.
Gary, let me jump in here. This is John, and you know the observation that I have been wanting to make about this ever since hearing. Not only a song you can drink a beer to, but also, you know, the song that we're going to be playing next to Find Us, is that you've really taken the roots of country music and applied this to what you're trying to do here. And we had our previous guest that we had on, the Lucas brothers. We had a very similar conversation to this. Both David and I did country music radio. We jocked country music back in the 70s when
when country wasn't cool.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when George Jones was cutting the syrup with a knife, and so to hear what you are doing is so refreshing, and it's not the 1,001 strings of some so-called country duet that you know they're country because the guy's wearing a cowboy hat. Otherwise, you'd never know. You know, you're listening to your music on the radio, and you know it's country. And I applaud you for that. I just think that, you know, it is just so refreshing to have this medium being brought back the way. Well, David and I cut our teeth when we were both at WQYK in Tampa, and I was at WSUN in Tampa, which was a huge country station back in the day. And of course, David went on to do a bunch of rock and roll. I did country music out on the West Coast, and so we both know the medium, and we know it very well, and we also know when somebody's BSing us about the fact that they're country. and you're not, you know, you are not BSing us on this. You know, you got it down, and I applaud that, my friend. I really do.
Thank you. Yeah, country is in my heart. I mean, I've been in a lot of bands, you know, different types of bands, top 40, dance, you know, even a 1940s band. And, you know, I wasn't happy until, you know, I always knew I wanted to do country. But at that time, it was hard to find bands, and I would just join a band and be in it for a while. But you know what, I think that really showed me, you know, who